Gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started with our council meeting. I'd like to note that the first point tonight we have under section A, for those of you following along on the agenda, we have to conduct a public hearing relative to the purchase of the property that council is considering at 395 Mudlick Road. That's out by our waste transfer station directly across the road. This has been discussed several times at council. We're following through with our due diligence to have a public hearing to allow the public an opportunity to speak in favor, in support, indifferent to what the council is proposing. At this time, I will ask, is there anyone present in council chambers or on the phone who would like to speak to the city council relative to the purchase of the property?
This conference will now be recorded.
Hearing none.
Mayor,
Yes.
we had somebody else join. If you joined, then we haven't gotten your name yet. Could you state your name, please?
Hi, Tom Nathan Sesto is on.
Okay.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
Tom, just to bring you up to speed, we're currently in the middle of our public hearing portion of the meeting. I had just previously asked before you got on if there was anyone on the phone or in council chambers that wished to address the city council this evening relative to the purchase of the property that we're considering at 395 Mudlick Road. And up until you joined, I hadn't heard anybody take us up on that offer.
Very good.
Okay.
The update.
At this time, I would entertain a motion that we conclude our public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Allball. We have a second by Mr. Rigger. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those like sign opposed? We will, thank you. That is a unanimous vote. We will consider the public hearing to be closed for this evening. Okay, now we will begin with our regularly scheduled city council meeting. We will begin with our moment of silent reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. I would ask Mr. Larry Brown in the back of the room if he would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody to City Council this evening, this Thursday, November 19th, 2020. If you're just joining us on TV or on the internet, we just concluded our public hearing and we're beginning our regularly scheduled meeting and agenda. At this time, we have representation from Steptoe and Johnson, whom we've had with us for the past couple of meetings. And we do have City Attorney Tom O'Neill, who's also participating from the other room. I would, in the interest of time for Steptoe and Johnson, I would like to once again move G1 up and G2 up to the beginning of the meeting so that we can discuss these matters at council with our counsel from Steptoe. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Well, we have to do this first, then we'll go through with the guests.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine, thank you.
Okay. G1 and G2 are now on the table for discussion. I would defer to you, Tom, or to you, Tom, either one, to start the ball rolling with the discussion piece on where we are now with the property purchase on Mudlick Road.
Well, Mayor, I'd be happy to begin the discussion.
The council has before it a couple of matters. One is the second reading for ordinance number 448, which is the ordinance authorizing the acquisition and the lease, et cetera. The second matter is resolution number 2020-11, which is a supplemental resolution relating to the financing bonds, which we can discuss. In fact, these matters were considered by council at a prior meeting. With respect to ordinance number 448, I'd be happy to read that by its caption, or at least, I'll just read it by its caption if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Ordinance number 448 of the City of Buckhannon, an ordinance authorizing and approving the acquisition by the City of Buckhannon Building Commission, the issuer, of real property, fixtures, personal property, and appurtenances located in the vicinity of 395 Mudlick Road in the City of Buckhannon. Well, it's not. Anyway, 395 Mudlick Road, Buckhannon, to be used by the City of Buckhannon as a public works facility supporting other city services, authorizing the leasing of such real property and all improvements and appurtenances thereto by the City of Buckhannon from the issuer, authorizing and approving the sale and issuance by the City of Buckhannon Building Commission of its not to exceed $1.6 million principal amount of lease revenue bonds in one or more series, authorizing the execution and delivery of agreement and lease and other instruments, and authorizing and approving other documents and matters relating to the terms and security of such bond, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. This is the second of two readings.
I know, make sure Andrew, because she sent me.
Say that again, Pam.
Pam, did you have a comment or question? Okay, I don't think so. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Do you have a comment or question relative to this?
No, I'm trying to deal with these batteries on the phone, I'm sorry.
Okay, not a problem. Okay. All right, thanks, Tom. Does anyone have, okay,
But you got something too quickly for me to get into.
you've appeared. Do any council members or have any comments or questions relative to what Tom just read us?
No, I don't.
Okay. Mr. Ammons, do you have any comments or relative to this to add or to improve upon where we are?
No, so, the ordinance was discussed at the last meeting. It primarily authorizes the leasing arrangement between the city and the building commission, which is the city's main role in this, and then the paying of the lease rentals under that lease, which repays the debt service on the bond. It talks about the main documents involved in the financing, the lease assignment, the assignment of funds and accounts and deed of trust, and specifies that the forms of those documents will be approved by a supplemental resolution, as well as the purchaser of the bond. You'll recall at the last meeting, it was authorized that an RFP be submitted to various financial institutions soliciting firms to purchase these bonds. That was sent out by Ms. Jenkins on Friday, received by the bank, and various proposals were submitted. The deadline for that was last Friday, and so those proposals are in hand and to be further discussed in connection with the supplemental resolution.
Okay. All right. If there's no further discussion, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. If there's no further discussion relative to G1, I would go ahead and entertain a motion that we approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Jack, we have a second by Mary. Hearing the need for no more discussion, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those like sign opposed? All right, the motion has carried. On to G2.
G2 is the supplemental resolution that was just referenced by Mr. Amon. The supplemental resolution will do a couple of things. It will approve as to form the transactional documents that will be entered into by the building commission, which constitute a lease assignment, what is essentially an assignment of rents, the deed of trust, and the lease between from the building commission to the city proper. It will also describe, I believe the supplemental resolution describes the banking institution which will issue the bonds, which is a matter that the council needs to make a determination upon at this time. And I might, Amby, do you want to handle that part of the discussion?
I can.
I'll turn the time over to Amby to discuss the financing particulars.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Tom.
So, as Mr. Amon alluded to, we sent out the RFPs to approximately, well, we sent out RFPs to 13 banks. We had to have responses back by the 13th, and we received responses back from 5 banks. So I want to thank, first of all, of those banks that responded. The responses were very favorable. I'm going to give you kind of a quick rundown of what we received. From First Community Bank, this is for a 15-year lease loan and the amount of $1.6 million at a fixed rate. So First Community Bank came back at a rate of 2.195%. Citizens Bank of West Virginia came back with 2.25%. The Grant County Bank came back with 3.17%. Community Bank 3.19%, and Summit Community Bank at 3.49%. So those were all extremely good rates, but of course this narrows down to 2 players who were actually, you know, when you, in the big picture, extremely close in their submissions. The one difference I should point out is that Citizens included the fees in their proposal. First Community did not. All of them require appraisals of the property that the bank will seek. Estimating those closing costs and appraisals, First Community estimated about $6,300. The payment, and I'm only going to speak of the first 2 because they're the ones with the lowest rates. First Community Bank monthly payment would be $10,440.43. Citizens Bank of West Virginia, $10,481.36. So you can see how close this is. In the end, though, if you will look at the total interest that's accumulated over the life of the loan, the interest for First Community is, and this is, we went through several scenarios, but the interest rates at First Community Bank over the life of the loan, $279,277.78. Citizens Bank, $286,643.97, which is interest over the life of the loan, $7,366 over the life of the loan, 15 years. These are both local banks. Both banks have been excellent to work with the city of Buckhannon. I couldn't be more pleased with both of them, but we can only award this to one, of course. Just to be completely transparent, unsolicited, both responded to me that there may be some negotiation of lowering the rate, but you know, our council says, you know, we ended this at the 13th and we need to look at, see at what happened on the 13th. If things are negotiated later, possibly, but at this point, we're dealing with what happened on the 13th. So at this point, even calculating everything we did, First Community Bank comes in at the lowest amount, but this is a decision for council to endorse, submitting their recommendations to the building commission that will meet on the 30th. So now I'll turn it back over to council. If you have any questions,
Did you say those were fixed rates?
fixed rates. We have to renew, I might add this, and Mr. Amon will agree, the city of Buckhannon, or the building commission has to, this is a renewable, we can't, you know, we can't be obligated, the city cannot be obligated for 15 years. The building commission has to go through the building commission for that reason. Is that accurately stated, Mr. Amon?
They didn't know anything about it.
Very well done, Ms. Jenkins. One thing I would say is I feel as though there's a little ambiguity in the response of citizens at banks as to whether or not they're proposing that they would pay the cost for the title work and the appraisal. Because when I do look at their proposal, it's got a section in there that talks about appraisal. An appraisal of the real estate will be required and performed by a certified general appraiser engaged by the bank. And then with respect to title, it says the bank will engage an attorney to certify title and provide an opinion regarding availability transfer of the property. Title insurance will be required, but and it gives the estimated amount of the title insurance, how much it would cost. Both of those say that the bank would engage the appraiser and the attorney to do the title work. I don't know that that necessarily means that the bank is paying the cost, because it would be traditional for the bank to hire those firms. And down below, under expenses, it does say the issuer being the building commission, will pay the cost of issuance of the bonds, including the fees and expenses of bond counsel, other legal counsel, costs associated with real estate title work and/or title insurance, and any costs for surveys and related costs to proceeds of the bond. So, I would read that to say that they would actually be asking the building commission to pay those costs from the bond proceeds, but I'll certainly concede that there's some ambiguity in there as to how that would go, and I assume that there's been no discussions with citizens on that, so that's maybe a little bit of a gray area there.
You're correct. I don't believe there have been any discussions there. Okay. At this,
So may I ask if there's, for the First Community Banks, Mr. Amon, there's no ambiguity there. I mean, is it clearer?
Yes. So First Community, their proposal is clearly saying that the building commission would pay the closing costs of the bond proceeds.
Okay, thank you.
does anybody have anything else they'd like to add? Any questions?
We didn't ask for that in the first place, correct? When we went out searching for the financial institutions, we didn't ask them
13
to.
banks were solicited. 13 banks were solicited for
Yeah.
this, and 5 gave responses.
Okay.
I think what she's asking is we didn't ask the question about fees,
Right.
or that this stuff would be covered whenever we went to the RFQ.
Right.
Is that right?
Well, the RFQ asked, the model letter that was sent to the potential bidders as part of the RFQ included a section where they were to list out expenses.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
But it did not require any particular party to pay them as part of the
Right.
RFQ. It was just open
Okay.
as
That's
part
what
of
I
the
wanted
bidding
to know.
process.
Okay. We didn't ask for that. Okay.
Anything else? This is a resolution, so we will need a roll call vote at the end of this. But Council, it would be my recommendation that we accept the proposal from First Community Bank to refer this package to the Building Commission.
I agree.
Agreed. Maybe a motion to that.
Oh,
Yeah, I would
I'll make a
entertain.
motion. Jack?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Pam. So we have a motion by Mary and a second by Pam. Is there discussion on the motion?
Is there, once we make this motion and go through, there's, Abby, would you still have an opportunity to see if they would do a better rate, or that's gonna lock it in, right?
There may be, we may have some discussions later after there's a decision, if they would want to do that, but we don't want to negotiate anymore at this point. This will lengthen the process, and we're in a pretty tight time frame at this moment. We have to have this closed by December, end of December.
Okay, thank you.
Members of council, for those of you who are not here tonight, we will need a resolution signed. If you could come by City Hall either tomorrow or sometime in the first,
It doesn't require those.
we don't need a signature?
Only your signature and the recorder's signature.
Okay, all right, never mind then, you don't need to come. It's not, okay. All right, I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay. Mr. Recorder, would you go ahead and do a roll call vote for us?
Absolutely. Mrs. Allball,
Yes.
Mrs. Bucklew,
Yes.
Mr. Rylands. Yes. Is Mr. Thomas on the phone or not?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Mr. Rigger,
Yes.
Mr. Sanders votes yes, and Mayor Skinner.
Yes.
All right, unanimous for all attendees.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sanders. And thank you, Mr. Ammon, for all of your work and guidance through this process. And of course, we thank Tom, our in-house legal counsel, O'Neill and Amby Jenkins, for facilitating all of this so that we can now begin to move forward with the next part in closing the deal.
My pleasure. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys.
Thanks, Tom. Have a great Thanksgiving holiday.
You too. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. We are down to recognized guests. Although he is not listed here, I would like to ask Larry Brown to address council, and then we will go down through with the guests who are listed. If that's okay.
I'm Larry Brown, retired from the United States Marine Corps. And they have this year handed me Toys for Tots, unknowingly for last week. I've helped with Toys for Tots for 4 or 5 years, but to be in charge, that's a different ballgame. But I would like the city to ask the city for permission to put out boxes into town. And we will try boxes, and then we will go around to the bigger business, banks and stuff, see if they'll give us a donation. That we don't know whether they will or not. But if anybody needs any questions answered, I'll try. But I do appreciate you fellows letting me come and tell you what we want to do.
Sure. Well, we thank you for your leadership with the program this year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Does anybody have any questions for Larry?
The boxes will go out tomorrow and Monday, or Tuesday, on Monday. And they will be picked up on the 15th of December. The toys will be dished out on the 19th and 20th of December.
Unwrapped. Unwrapped.
Unwrapped. that's about it.
Larry, are you, I heard you say United States Marine Corps. Are you retired United States Marine Corps?
Yes, sir.
Where
1981.
you served?
Yes, sir.
1981.
Well, we support you, we support your efforts. We thank you for what you're doing, and I echo, I think the council echoes, we thank you and all the veterans in our community and beyond for your service to our nation.
I appreciate it. I know they do too.
So,
Thank you.
thank you. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All of you.
Okay. Before we bring Sergeant Courtney in, Dennis, you want to go ahead and give us your report?
I will. I'll go before you.
Before I give the report, I would ask your indulgence to give a short public service announcement. We got a phone call the other day from people representing, or saying they represented Amazon. They wanted us to renew our club membership for $40 on the credit card. We said, let us think about it, and hung up. The wife called Amazon, told them what was happening, and they didn't know about it. They don't have clubs. So this was a scam. The wife recommended to Amazon to put a notice in their website and emails. And you know, they did. They listened to her. So if you get a phone call like that from Amazon or anywhere else that doesn't have a club, hang up and turn the phone number into the police department. I just talked to the chief a few seconds ago. He said, yeah, they need the phone numbers. Okay, now to the report. It's for the November meeting. The meeting opened at 5:30 p.m. on Monday at the pavilion behind the high school football field. Immediately, it was decided to hold the meeting by flashlight because the switch for the lights was not available. It was locked up behind a fence. It was called to order by Josh Hinchman, the chairperson. There were only 3 others there and 1 on the phone. It was reported that there is another check due in soon for the trails project. The budget was approved, and it was reported that all the wooden signs at the corner of the drive to the high school and the Highway 20 might be illegal because they may be in the right-of-way according to the WVDOT. The proposed new signs are in the position of the WVDOT. They're waiting for their approval, so they've got the signs and they're looking at them over now. In other business, it was reported that there has been a lot of traffic on the website for the trails, and the Board of Ed will be approached at their next meeting about the course for the disc golf course, because a small part of it would be on property owned by the Board of Ed. And lastly, the old amphitheater has been brush hogged, and we are looking for new ideas of what to do with that area. It's respectfully submitted by Dennis P. Cordes and one of 2 members appointed by the City of Buckhannon to that advisory board. And it's into my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Dennis. Mr. Dusenberry, would you like to address us?
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate, as I always do when I come to visit, that the Congressman's more than happy to help any way he possibly can if y'all are in the process of looking into some grants. Kelly and company, I'll be more than happy to send that on to the Office for letter of support when y'all do settle on a particular grant. Just a little aside, if you will indulge me, Larry Brown, who was just here, he is symptomatic, as Mrs. Albaugh is, of our great veterans. He's in the midst of some health issues that would knock anybody else down to their knees. And what is he willing to do? He's willing, as being past commander, he's willing to take on the Toys for Tots project. And it's just, it's just amazing to see these folks. They will not stop fighting for our country. And we should all thank them every chance we get, and know how fortunate we are to have them in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is Sergeant Courtney here? You want to go ahead and bring him in? Is Matt with him? Hello.
Mayor, I'll bring Sergeant Courtney in, turn the floor over to him, and probably introduce our newest addition to the force, K9 Arrows.
Before you do that, we're not allowed to pet the dog and that kind of stuff.
He's pretty social, just one at a time. So.
Okay, I'm just curious. I love dogs.
No, you stay over there. If he turns him out, I want him there, you, not me.
I have another appointment I have to get to, so I gotta leave.
Yeah.
It's a he.
It's a he.
William, you want to introduce him? And
Yeah, what's his name?
All right, his name is Arrows, Erros. He's a Dutch Shepherd. He's from Holland. They imported him over here, and he's about 18 months old.
How's he doing with his training?
He did awesome in training. He did really good. It was a lot more than what I thought it was going to be, but it was definitely good training.
Tell me a little more about what his specialties are, what he can do.
He's a dual-purpose dog, so he's trained to detect drugs. As far as that goes, it's meth, heroin, cocaine. He also does tracking, area searches, and then apprehensions.
This is something that Sergeant Courtney has wanted to do and wanted to bring to our force, and he met with many of us on council back last year to get our thoughts and about it, and I'm proud of Sergeant Courtney for bringing this to us unsolicited and taking on the responsibility of being his caregiver, and I think you can see that there's love and affection there mutually.
Yeah. Look at that face. He's smiling for the camera.
I can see him in the bed now.
he's posing.
Can I ask you a question, Sergeant?
Yes.
Do you have protective gear for the dog, such as plate carrier or anything like that?
We are actually in the process. There is an organization called Blue Line K9 Project, and she is working on obtaining us a ballistic vest.
Good. Because in a bad situation, they'll send that dog straight in to protect our guys, but the dog also needs a protection. That's why I was asking if they'd already had that covered. If they didn't, we could work on it. It's coming, huh?
Yeah.
All righty.
I'm glad you brought him in. Thank you.
No problem.
He's so pretty.
I have a question. Has he started working yet?
What was that?
Just wanted to know if he started working yet.
Yeah, we've been on the road since last week.
What kind of treats does he get?
He don't get a whole lot of treats. Right now it's kind of milk bones and everything. We stay away from the rawhides and everything.
Arms, legs.
Yeah.
When they turn that thing loose, the most frequently thing you'll be hearing is, "Call him off, call him off."
Is he fast at running?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Dutch Shepherds, they're a lot like the Belgian Malinois. So they're just a very active, high energy dog. Very smart, courageous. So, I mean, he's going to do good.
What are you hiding over there? You want to know what kind of treats he eats and how fast he is?
Well, I don't have dogs anymore, but
You know, those
I never go with candy.
those breeds right there in West Virginia is the kennel that breeds the Malinois that the special operators in our military use. And I happened to be watching a thing on them one night, and they were showing the puppies, and the puppies are playing in a bin, and in the background they have machine guns going, explosions and everything like that to get them used to it. But if you look at that thing and other pictures, the SF guys will have those dogs wrapped around their back, and they can come out of an aircraft with that dog, free fall, and the whole 9 yards. And I mean, another picture I saw, they had them on their back and were coming into something incredible, incredible. Well worth the money to protect the officers. And says,
And it's a E.
Yes.
You said he does phone protection as well?
What is it?
Phone protection?
No, just drugs. Like I said, drugs tracking, apprehension. No, they try not to typically mix explosives and drugs together. That way, when they indicate, you know what they're indicating on.
Okay.
does he sit down?
Yeah, yeah.
What was the training like?
It was pretty intense. It was 6 weeks. The people up there really knew what they were talking about. I mean, pretty much all the instructors were either prior military canine handlers or prior law enforcement. So, I mean, it was really good training. It's a well-renowned kennel, and that's one of the reasons why we picked them.
Didn't you see officers there from all over the country?
Oh yeah, we had some there from Washington, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, a little bit of everybody.
Does he get restricted by voice commands, or do you have hand signal training as well?
There's some hand signals. We use mostly voice commands, but yeah, he does have some hand signals.
English? English?
Some.
Okay.
Are most of his commands in German or Dutch though, because of the?
Yeah, they're
I was just
they're
curious
kind
how
of
you
a
said how to
mixture,
German.
but yeah, they're mostly foreign. There's a few English, but mostly foreign.
Why did you choose the Dutch Shepherd over the other kinds? Just out of curiosity, I've never met one before.
No real preference. I mean, I've always kind of liked the Malinois and the Dutches. But like I said, they're pretty much identical.
Okay.
So I just, with the Dutch Shepherds or the brindle look,
Yeah.
I just really like that.
Yeah, he's beautiful. I like the breed. Aw. Very cute. Aw.
Well, Sergeant, thank you for bringing him here to meet us this evening.
Oh, it's no problem.
Thank you for taking the leadership and initiative to bring this to our department.
You're welcome. Anything else?
No. I feel like he'll get some, milk buns.
I think he's liking the attention. I don't know that he wants to leave.
I know.
Yeah, he doesn't really know a stranger right now.
No, I
So.
don't think so.
Yeah, those Shih Tzus aren't intimidating, are they? Now, are you gonna offer to the council, any one of them that'd like to get in the suit? You'll be more than happy to let them help you work the dog?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Mayor?
I'll step right up.
I nominate Randy Sanders.
I think it's a good idea.
All right.
That'd be a good fundraiser.
Hey, I'm listening out here.
He's ready to go.
Oh, he
Yeah,
is.
he's so pretty.
You people aren't even fun, you're not giving him
He's gonna be
treats.
big. He's still growing in this frame right
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
18 months.
Oh, okay, so he's 18 months
A
old.
few more donuts, he'll fill out. I had a Doberman Pinscher one time when I went to pick that thing up. It was a puppy, and I picked it up and pulled in. Went to McDonald's and got a double cheeseburger. Boy, that was the first thing imprinted on that dog's mind. From then on, whenever we'd give out the Golden Arches, it'd look, the Golden Arches look at me like, "Daddy, aren't you gonna get me?" And I'd turn around.
So you're not supposed to let people pet them?
Like I said, they can. They just, like I said, one at a time. And you know, now if he's working, obviously not. But something like this, not a big deal. Like I said, he don't
Your
really,
buddy now,
he don't really know a stranger, so
Yeah.
he's pretty friendly.
Well, thank you again for bringing him in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's no problem.
Sir.
Thank
He
you.
knows when it's time to work.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks. Stay safe. Well, the fun part of the evening's over, so. Okay. In the interest of the room and where we are with spacing and the crowd that's present. Rob Hinton is here, for those of you on the phone, to discuss G5 and some additional information relative to that. I would like to go ahead and hear Rob so that we can let him get back to his evening and his 4 kids at home. If that's okay?
Yeah. Hi, Rob.
Hey, how are you all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you for moving me up. The kids are already in bed, but appreciate the gesture. So I want to bring an update on Brushy Fork property as well as just the overall business recruitment that we've been working on for the past. We've been working on it for the past 4 years from a strategy of diversifying the economy and bringing in new businesses, identifying new industry that is coming up, in West Virginia. Medical cannabis is an industry that's coming up in West Virginia, and it was authorized back in 2017. And whether you agree with the legislature authorizing medical cannabis is a different topic than figuring out whether or not you want to support the jobs that are going to come with this industry and the growth that's going to come with this industry. We recruited, the Development Authority recruited 2 companies to Upshur County. This was last year. We started having conversations with those companies. Our goal was there's only going to be 10 permits awarded, and states like Illinois have over 1,000 applicants, and states that are smaller and more rural have 100, 150 applicants. So we didn't know how many applicants we were going to see go into the permit process. There's about 42 permits applications that went through. So we figured since we had 2 companies that were interested in locating here that were in the permit process, we were, percentage-wise, we were looking good to at least get 1. We were successful in getting both companies received awards. So Buckhannon Grow and Armory Pharmaceuticals, both companies that received growing permits back in October 2020. And then recently, last week, they announced processor permits. So both of those companies could have located here still and been part of the grow process, or the grow aspect of the business. They just wouldn't have the secondary processing, which is just another component of the business, and they just would have been limited their size. We were very excited to see that they got grower and processor, which means that they're going to have greater capacity and impact on what they'll be able to do in their business, and obviously the job count and overall investment is going to be larger as well. So like I said before, these companies are looking at a trajectory over the next 3 years, depending on how the industry grows, 80 to 100 jobs each. So that's a big addition to a small town like Buckhannon and Upshur County as a whole. Anywhere from low skill, mid skill to high skill jobs. So you'll have people that work in the labs with degrees and all the way to just regular blue collar jobs. So there's a large spectrum of opportunities there for folks that are out of jobs and out of work right now. So that's a positive side. The other positive side is how fast this is probably going to happen. So in the legislation, you have 6 months from the time of award of permit to certify that you're ready for operations. And I believe that there is going to be some 90-day window of extending it under the circumstances of COVID and the pandemic, but nothing has been set in stone. But under the current legislation and rules, both companies are working to move forward to get open and be ready for operation mid-2021. And so Armory Pharmaceuticals will locate in the old Armory. And so another positive on that front is the old Armory is going to get a facelift, and it's going to get probably about a $2 to $2.5 million capital improvement into the building and the property. So that's good because that building was starting to look a bit ragged. The other company, Buckhannon Grow and Buckhannon Processing, will go out to Brushy Fork. They will build a completely new facility and I believe when I talked to them today, and they have just gotten bids back on their construction, so they're ready to start moving forward with finalizing the plans and so on and so forth. So that's all positive, that's all good. One of the things that we have discussed before as a city, between the city and the Development Authority, is on the Brushy Fork property, is working together because of the cost efficiencies the city can perform from a standpoint of road development, road work, and sidewalks and so on and so forth, that we could partner together and build a short access road out there at the Brushy Fork property. There's option to have the city go in and apply for a DOH grant. We looked into this, and then before I mentioned that there is a DOH Industrial Access Road grant. I'm very confident that we would be able to get it just because of the cost efficiencies, that we'd be able to perform the work. It is possible for the city to apply and perform the work and get reimbursed for the cost. So that's good. But it is easier and simpler for the city to be the applicant rather than the Development Authority to be the applicant. I think when we talked before, the Development Authority is going to apply for it. It just is cumbersome because the Development Authority would have to publicly bid, and then the city it just becomes too cumbersome. So it's the easiest route is for the city to submit the application, which we're very happy to prepare that application, very simple application, and submit that. And I think we could probably get an answer before the end of the year. With whether or not we could be awarded with what the cost of the road will be. We talked with Jay Holland. He's done some rough estimates. So looking at the size of the road that we would want to put out there, probably looking between $100,000 and $150,000, $200,000 on the high end. But I don't foresee the road being any longer than 250 to 300 feet. And it's all going to depend on the new Buckhannon Groves facility, what the layout is. We haven't seen that yet, but they're going to be sending it forward, and that'll define whether we're going to have a 100-foot road or 250-foot road. It's just on where their entrance is to the property that they have out there.
Didn't we talk about this way back?
We did.
Yeah, I remember that.
So here's where we're at with that part. Rob really needed some commitment from us that we supported his initiatives to bring these businesses here.
Right.
And be part of, Rob should be commended tremendously for, this is, the job creation here is the potential is great for our community. The part of that approval process and part of them wanting to locate here is the partnership with the city and the city's willingness to step forward, right, to be a part to be a partner with the project. So we supported it conceptually to help the recruitment effort. At that point, the recruitment effort has been successful. Now we need to continue to support this, and I'm certainly in favor of us applying for the grant as the city. I would like to remind everyone that this is within the city limits. Right. This piece of property is within Buckhannon's corporate limit, and these jobs would be jobs inside the city, and this company would be inside the city as well. Actually, both of them, because the armory toward Tennerton is actually within the city limits as well. So I feel that if it's going to simplify the matter for us to be the grant applicant, I think it's something that we should go ahead and do. Is there any questions or discussion? Anybody have any questions for Rob relative to his report?
And just a caveat, the one process in moving forward would be when we did talk with Jay Holland, there would be some upfront ancillary engineering costs that the Development Authority, it's a geotechnical study for the subgrade. So Jay can design the road specific to what the subgrade he's working with. Development Authority is under contract with 2 engineering firms, and I know you guys are familiar with the 5G process and how you get to go out and contract with an engineering firm is very cumbersome. So we're already under contract, so we can go ahead and take care of the geotechnical work and then we can work out the details on, getting reimbursed once the grant comes in and all that stuff goes out. But we want to get moving and be able to be prepared to, at least grade out a road and throw some gravel down when that company is getting ready to start construction after the first of the year.
Wow. And we need to move on.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mayor, what we're doing is we're committing to having Callie work with the UCDA and submitting a grant proposal, or is it already prepared?
It is not prepared. There's some engineering that needs to be done, as well as there's finalization of identifying the exact number of jobs they project for year 1, 2, and 3, because this grant is based on a match. What's unique about it is that the match is actually the private investment that Buckhannon Grow will actually be investing into the facility. So it's a grant that, what it's called Industrial Access Road Grant, it's mainly used that if you have a manufacturer that buys a piece of property and wants to invest and build a manufacturing plant, the state of West Virginia has a mechanism that can help mitigate the cost and incentivize them to come in by providing federal dollars that were, they're granted from the state to, local communities or what have you, to build small access roads into industrial sites.
Yeah, we already have water and sewer out there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a big issue.
Go ahead, Mr. Sanders.
Yeah, so I guess my follow-up is, and first of all, kudos to you, Rob, for the great work in getting these two businesses committed to Buckhannon, and for your work and helping them get their feet on the ground here. So for this particular project, we potentially will be committing to doing the work of a $100,000 to $200,000 project, and we will know before we start that project if we get the grant, correct?
Yeah, our goal is to try and find out if we'll be awarded on the grant by the end of the year. So at the end of this year. So we're going to work really diligently to get the application in the next couple of weeks, and then work through the development office, West Virginia Development Office, as well as the Department of Highways down in Charleston, to at least get some feedback on an answer.
Okay, and we're talking about our city employees to do some of the work out there making the road, right?
Yes.
With our equipment and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay, and Jerry's already aware of this now? I'm sure you've talked.
We've had a few meetings. The most recent meeting was this past week, Monday. I listened in on it, and it was Jerry, myself, Jay Holland, Rob Hinton, just kind of talking over some of the particulars with this. But yes, our staff is well aware of and well versed in what we're looking at.
Do we need a motion?
If you'd like to, yeah, I think we should, continue to support this, and again, this is within the city limits. I think it's our responsibility to create the infrastructure for business development.
Tom, did you?
Well, I'm just trying to recall back to when this was discussed a few months ago, and the commitment was made prior to the award. I thought the commitment at that time, and maybe I misheard something.
I don't remember
that there wasn't a cost, that there wasn't going to be a cost associated to the city for that.
Yeah, and I believe the commitment was to enter into a partnership to work out the details, to do a little bit of preliminary engineering to understand what the cost would be. And so tonight it is, we do have commitments that this business does have, both permits. It is going to create manufacturing, and I'm here asking to go to the next step with that commitment to say, look, let's build the access road, let's welcome the business, let's be progressive, and let's move forward.
And the city's commitment is, did I hear $200,000? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
In kind.
But at the same time, we are going after a DOH Industrial Access Road grant that I'm fairly confident that we would be able to receive a favorable response. Oops.
we process the request for the grant, and just like we did before for the other building out there, correct?
What other building?
Our, out by the armory. Did we do some of that work out
Well,
there?
that's a, yeah, I think you're talking about the Aaron Harris property.
Yeah.
That's a private
That's
development
private.
by Aaron, but we, at that point, we approved running utility services to that piece of property, because again, it is within the city limits
Right.
to help with that development.
Right. Okay.
Jerry, do you have anything you want to add,
I
or?
was just standing here pondering. Now, if we're successful in the grant, of course, the city's not on the hook for the $200,000. But if not, then the city would pay the $200,000. Is that a fair statement?
Right.
I didn't hear that question.
If successful in obtaining the grant, the city would not be out the $200,000, simply
Right,
just
that's
delay.
important.
But if not, then we would potentially be on the hook for the materials, the $200,000 to do the rest. That's the commitment. I think that's.
Do we have any idea yet as far as what the dollar amount, the annual revenues for these businesses would be, how it would affect C&O and sales tax and all of that?
Well, the sales tax is probably moot because they won't be dispensaries and they will be manufacturers wholesaling to resellers, so there wouldn't be a sales tax associated to that. From a standpoint of construction and permit B&O, they're looking at a $5 million investment. So I think we were at $3.5 million with the Innovation Center, and we were close to $100,000 on permit fees and B&O. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's close to what we were. So from a manufacturing standpoint, I would assume that somewhere in the neighborhood between $5 and $10 million in production a year, kind of initially at the start.
Okay, thank you.
So,
I have a question.
yes.
You said the paving would be 100 feet or up to 300 feet, right?
That's what we're trying to figure out, yes. Jay designed a 1,000-foot road and priced a 1,000-foot road. What was the 1,000-foot road, like 250,000?
Yeah. Well, that's
something like that. So I mean, if you look at 250,000 for the 1,000-foot road, obviously you cut that in half, so on, you're well below the 200,000. I'm just saying from a high side standpoint, I don't want to undercut anything here, but
But what I'm saying, if you decide you don't need that long of a road, and you apply for a certain amount of grant money, and you get it, and you don't need that much road, what will you be doing with the rest of the money?
Oh, so the money, there's lots of rules with the money. You just don't get a check. It has to be reimbursed. And when we submit our grant application to DOH, we'll have the new company's site plan already in our possession, and we'll design the road length based on that. So we will have a final design, if you will, of at least length that we will need and have a cost estimate with contingencies. So any money that we don't use with any grant, if you come under budget, you can't draw down the rest of the grant, and the money goes back into the DOH's Industrial Access Road larger pool.
The engineering firm that's doing.
All right, thank you.
I have another question.
Jack was beginning.
I'm
The
sorry,
engineering
Jack.
firms that you're talking to regarding the geotechnical, have you received quotes or estimates from them?
No.
So we don't know what we're going to be approving.
Jay Holland has estimated that to be $12,500 on the high side.
But that's Jay. That's not the company. Now, this is where I have a bit of an issue. I'll be up front. You want us to make a blind commitment with no information. I would at least like to know the engineering companies and what they're going to cost.
Well, first of all, I can
You know.
give you an idea there. We've had geotechnical done before, and it's been anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000 per site. So I can see on the high side that this is probably going to cost $10,000 for the geotech work. But I can get you a number on that.
Yeah, I think it would be good when you do come, you know, I don't want to cast stones, but when you come to council, personally, I think it would be good to have some quotes or estimates that we can look at. So I'm not comfortable approving things blindly. That's just me. And the last time you were here, in July or August, it was a rush. And I feel that this is, again, a rush.
I'm not trying to rush anything.
It seems that way to me.
You guys can make a decision to do what you want to do. I'm bringing 200 jobs to the county and the city, so
Well, that's
I'm
not-
just sitting here saying we can work together to build a road. That's it.
I'm not opposed to the road. I'm a little bit frustrated with the process. Just to have an idea, you know, that's me. It's, well, there's an estimate, it might be this, it might be that. I don't know, I'm very concrete in my thinking, so.
Let me ask you this, Rob. If we apply for the grant, and you believe that we would know something before the end of the year, is that fair to say?
Optimistically, yes, I'd like to be able to do that.
Okay. Could we bring this back to the table to that once, if the grant is received, will, you know, this changes the discussion, or if we don't receive the grant, it changes the discussion again. Would it make sense to bring this back to the table once we know whether or not the grant is going to be successful or not, to determine our direction as how we are going to proceed with, you know, the exact number we're going to contribute? Is that something
It's up to you. I know we met on Monday. There was a ballpark budget figured out for the road. When I say 200,000, I'm saying that's, you know, a high side. It's up to council. If you want to take this on and say we're going to make the investment in this road that's in the city that a company's coming in, that's fine. It's up to you.
The city is applying for the grant.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who approves that?
Department of Highways as well as the development office.
No, I mean, who did we know in advance that Jay was doing this? Is that something that y'all been working on?
Well, I think that was the first, you know, visit that I had here, was to at least get authorization for Jay to start working on what a design would look like and what a preliminary cost would look like from a budgetary standpoint.
I'll just interject there. I don't know the time frame wise, and you know, we had that conversation the other day that Jay can make that end of year deadline with what he's got on his plate with the FEMA generators. So, you know, because it's going to be a detailed project, it has to be to DOH standards if we get a DOH grant, because they have to accept the road, if I'm correct, after the grant's completed. The DOH actually assumes ownership of the road.
Correct.
So, again, you know, it's not just putting a cost estimate together and giving a profile of the road. It's going to be pretty detailed in the total project. And, you know, if they would accept a partial, simply a portion of what Jay's completed so far, but I think in the full-blown grant application, they're going to want all the details. So again, I'm not sure that we can meet that or Jay can meet that deadline with the holidays and what he's got on his plate right now. Not to muddy the water anymore.
I'm certainly not opposed to the project, okay? And in fact, I want to be a yes vote, but I don't know, I'm just one of those concrete linear individuals that just has to see everything. That's just me.
I think it's too a little difficult to visualize, because this particular region of our corporate limits sits out away from the core nucleus of the town. And I think that it would be easier to visualize if we were putting a street in the actual, almost the actual city. I mean, in the original proper part of our town. But because this is new property, it's been fairly newly annexed when you look at the time frame of what's existed in Buckhannon for years versus now. So I think that could be part of why it just seems like, you know, it's just a road out here that that the majority of us aren't going to see on a daily basis versus if it were downtown. And I understand what Councilman Jack Rigger is saying with regard to, you know, the process, but I do believe that conceptually and philosophically that we have a responsibility as a city to be, you know, welcoming to new businesses that want to locate in our town. You know, this community, we don't have to sit here and talk about it. We know that we've been hit over the past 5, 6, 7 years with companies leaving and job loss. The oil and gas industry is, it goes in ebbs and flows. Coal industry is not where it was. Railroad industry is not where it was. You know, I think a nice shot in the arm of a couple hundred jobs would do us a world of good around here. This is a new and upcoming industry. It's not going to go away. It's only going to continue to keep expanding and becoming more and more interwoven into the fabric of what our economy is in America. So I think that's where I'm at. I believe just that, I mean, that we should, you know, our city, we should be, have a red carpet out to anybody who wants to come and set up shop and create jobs in our town, and we should do everything we can to make that an easy process, because we're not the only town that businesses can come to. And we've heard many stories about why businesses have chosen to locate in this community, because we have a reputation of being easy to work with. I was just speaking with James from Stone Tower last week, and he said where they operate other coffee shops versus here is night and day. We're an easy community to work with. We've displayed ourselves as business friendly and welcoming, and I think that we should continue that mindset, and I think we should, you know, I think we should get behind this. I really do. I think this is important to our future.
Yeah. I think maybe I can.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I hearing all you're saying, and the only thing that I'm concerned about is I wish Jay Holland would have been at the meeting tonight to explain to us and present in writing his findings. And I wish we had something in writing as to the procedures of the grants, and I wish we had something tangible to look at for costs related. I want these jobs, we want these jobs, but this is just, we're just having discussions about up to $200,000. Unless I'm missing something, I'm looking through the packet. If I'm missing something, are there some documentations in the packet for this?
Did you
Are there
submit anything in writing?
No,
I don't
honestly,
think
we
so.
met on Monday. Mayor Skinner asked me to come down. Yesterday, he asked me to come down to council and give an update and a brief, you know, overview of where we are. And I think ultimately, I think what the ask is that, and quite frankly, it's like it's completely up to you, obviously as a council, but we want to go after a DOH industrial access road grant. If we're awarded, that's great, right? It's a net zero cost. The other is, okay, let's say we apply for the grant, worst case scenario, we don't get it. Is the city still committed to building the road? I think that's the gist of what is going on, and I threw out $200,000 because I think that's a fair number not to exceed, but I understand that obviously you want to know exactly how much money, but I think the ask would be, are you willing to commit on something like that, or a project not to exceed X amount of dollars? Hopefully you get the DOH grant, but then we're going to come back and refine the exact number and the exact dollar amount that would be spent on that road. I think that's the level of commitment that I think I would like to see, or at least clarity that we can move forward knowing that. So I'd really hate to wait till the end of January, or the end of December and then end of January to find out whether or not the city would commit to actually doing it and taking it on under their own costs and then recouping it from the B&O and the permit fees that would come down the road. I think that's really what we're looking at, is just whether or not that's the appetite of the council and the administration. And if it's not, that's completely understandable and you know, rightfully in your jurisdiction to make that decision.
I think I'm supportive of the businesses coming in. I'm just a little frustrated with the process of this particular project. It just thrust upon us a bit quickly. And I understand you just had your meeting on Monday. I get that.
It's something, but something could have been put into the packet about this, and it should have been on the agenda. And rather than coming in, when you've got something this big an issue, it should be added to the agenda if possible, and give us something, some pictures and facts and something tangible.
Understood.
Okay.
Understood.
I'm all for it. Okay. I don't, as long as it doesn't take Jerry Arnold and his crew take away from other city projects. Okay. And it won't.
Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean, it will.
I know. I know it
You can't be in two
would.
places at once, Mary. I've tried, trust me. You just can't do it. There's a commitment. As Rob said, you know, it's a commitment. So, you know, you're going to have to be.
Can you get closer to the microphone?
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
Well, you know, I mean,
There's one over here.
we're unique with our city employees. I mean, they build buildings, they build electricity, they do everything, sewer, water, all of that kind of stuff. So,
Dave, I said that you know, it's going to take us away from other city projects. There's no way around that, especially on a tight timeline like we're talking. And you know, that's one of the things that Rob mentioned to us Monday was, and he just mentioned tonight, you know, they have a 6-month timeline to work with to get up and operating. So that's what throws the urgency in it. Now, that being said, again, I'm like some of you. I'd like to know on the state grant, you know, just what the requirements are. If it's similar to what we've worked on before, and I don't know because we've never applied for an industrial access road grant. But if it's similar to what we've done before, you know, there's some restrictions about reimbursement, and so that's the kind of things. If we can clarify those issues, I think you would have a pretty good picture of what you're committing to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think if we knew that up front, that hey, you know, whatever we expend up to this point, you're not going to get back even if you get the grant.
Right, and that was emailed to Jay Holland. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, but there are restrictions on reimbursement, right? You can't do any work and then get reimbursed, so that's the rub of that grant, which is obviously problematic in trying to get a head start on the project before you're approved. But once you have approval from DOH, you can go ahead and start work, and all those costs that are expended under that time frame are drawdown available for the DOH grant.
So, looking at the calendar and time frame, today is Thursday, the 19th of November. Our next meeting is December the 3rd. Do you think that there would be a way to have a proposal with some numbers in the event that we do not get the grant? Would you be able to put together some numbers for the council to consider, so that we could at least have, that folks could have to look at?
Yes, you're asking me something that's out of my wheelhouse, though. That is all Jay Holland, and so that's where we're relying on Jay Holland for the numbers.
Could you and Jay and Jerry work together to come up with a proposal for us?
Yes, I would be happy to do that. That's fine.
is this a yes, Jerry, or is this a yes?
Well, I think the proposal would be simply what Jay's worked up to this point as an estimate. It's going to be a broad stroke of a brush. It's not going to be, again, it's not going to be a detailed proposal, because in the time frame that we have to work, and again with the holidays, it's going to be more than difficult to come up with an exact number to give you. And I think that, you know, Rob's painted it pretty clear that I think you're looking at, if you don't get a DOH grant, you're looking at about $150,000 to $200,000 commitment to that. So, I mean, we can put something, I'm sure that we can put something together, but it's not going to be that detailed that we need to submit a grant application.
And I'm not trying to blame you, that's why I'm going all the way up to 200 when saying that. I don't want to come across as saying, hey, commit to 75 and then come back and it's, you know, 150. It's a big commitment, and that's, I think, what has to be contemplated. So,
when would this project take place? What would be the time frame?
Could you repeat the question, Randy?
What are the proposed dates for this project to take place? When would the project take place?
Proposed dates.
of the road project?
Yes.
Yes, the road.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, sometime in January, grade off and put some gravel down and get, you know, some kind of road base.
This coming January?
January, February.
And then a question for Jerry, would this replace the Spring Street project?
Absolutely not.
No, we can't do that.
I can tell you that.
See, that's what I don't understand.
Absolutely not.
Our type of work, they plan jobs out for just about a whole year. You know what you want to do or try.
You know, moving dirt, it depends on what's there, what has to be moved, and what kind of weather conditions you have if it's conducive with doing that. So again, I couldn't tell you definitively that January and February we're going to have conducive weather to build a road. Now I can tell you that if conditions are right and we get the geotechnical back and the soil conditions are right, and again, keep in mind, we have to build the DOH standards if we get the grant. And that's another big if. If we're looking at January, February, that's pretty tight to get a grant turnaround. So I can almost say that it's going to be city funded. If all this comes together though, and we can move dirt, then we could get it under stone. And then as soon as the blacktop plants open in the spring, we would we'd send it under our contract paving to pave this 300 feet. But, you know, it could be within the time frame of March, but you're talking about the stars all aligning. And I think Rob knows that too, with getting the road completed by that time frame, especially through the winter months. So there's a lot of ifs, variables, funding and construction wise.
Okay, well, so in hearing the conversation this evening, it sounds to me like the council's feeling and viewpoint is that we need some numbers, and it needs to come back to our next meeting for discussion with something concrete on a piece of paper. Is that what I'm hearing from everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think I don't think we have a problem with Callie and Rob and other interested parties working on the grant to see where we see what we can get with that. Don't ask, don't get.
That's right. Apply.
And then so if we could have a proposal for next council meeting in the event that we do not receive the grant, what the city is being asked to be a part of with this project. Sounds to me that would make everybody feel better and maybe a better way forward. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Is that, you're cool with that? Everybody cool with that, right, Bob? Mayor?
It's been a long discussion, so I mean, if that's where we're at,
Yesterday to
then
come down and just give an update, so that's what I did. I did not know what paperwork or had been dispersed or not been dispersed, so we can get that stuff and go from there.
You get a short fuse too, when they come to you.
Well, I would mention that, when you mentioned that, yes, we as a city, we plan out our projects
Yeah,
because, but government works at a much different pace than business.
I know.
Business makes decisions like that.
Right.
And, there's just not the processes so that's where it becomes difficult when you try to work.
Yeah, the other thing is with the DOH grant, I would have loved to work with Jay and Jerry and gotten that in, back in, I think I was here in August, maybe. But we couldn't put it in because we don't have a commitment from a private entity that they would actually be making that investment to the property of Brushy Fork, because they could not commit to the investment until they were noticed on the permit. So it was really it's really a tough timeline for us as well to react, because this was noticed back in October, and then the processor permit noticed in last week, and their capital investment would be less than what it is now that they have their processor, so that would change the size of their facility, their footprint and everything. So it really made it tough for us to at least get that in, and it's almost like we have to be reactionary on this instance. So it is tough and difficult, but I will get with Jay, and we'll at least come up with a more clarified budget and go from there.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks for coming, Rob.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your time, and again, congratulations on the wins.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
One other comment, Rob. The parking lot is a great asset. It looks fantastic.
He's out the door, but I'll let him know, Randy.
Okay.
Okay, I feel like we've had a meeting already, and we haven't even gotten to department reports.
Have we done the vote yet?
No, I think we should. I don't know that we've done the pledge either. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we.
It's been a meeting. Okay, Callie, if you're out there, we'll go ahead with you as our information coordinator for your report.
Sure. Good evening. I'll just run through quickly since I know we're already in deep tonight. So in your packet, you have my report. With PR, we had the South Florida Street closure for the sewer repair. We have the Christmas Around the World on Main Street that I've been working on with the street department and Jerry Henderson in Burma. The Buckhannon Sewer Department crew was commended for outstanding performance in the installation of the new UV system. We had some PR out about hoping to have that Smithfield Street paving project started this week, but the weather doesn't allow. So we've updated that. Hopefully you can get started on that after the Thanksgiving holiday. We have the John Young and Marshall Day proclamation. We are remembering November as Native American Heritage Month, and working on another story on the UV system at the sewer plant. And we are developing PR to go along with those path routes, which have been painted now, and we're looking to get those signs. We weren't quite as pleased with the first go-around with the signs, but we hope to get those out soon and some brochures to go along with it. We want to remind, especially now that schools are going to be remote until January, that those Wi-Fi hotspots are available at the Gibson Library, Stockard Youth Center, and Drummond Park. You do need to call City Hall, Stockard, or the library to have the Wi-Fi password, and we only want that to be used for if you're accessing the Buckhannon Volunteer Center database or if you're a student doing virtual learning. Working with Jeff and the Waste Department on some PR on bulky goods. Continue to update the website with the COVID information, that part of our webpage, and with agendas, minutes, et cetera, et cetera. Working with JB and the fire department on a Walmart grant for some equipment needs. Continue to assist the Buckhannon River Watershed Association on some grant reporting. And working on our CARES Act for October, excuse me. And we have a thank you to the veterans up on the LED sign, and we'll be changing that to Happy Holidays and the Christmas around the world soon. And that's what I have, unless you have any questions.
Any questions for Callie? Thanks, Callie. We appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. You as well, and everyone.
Thank you, Kelly.
Jerry Arnold, Public Works Director.
The man.
I've already been in here enough and said enough. Time to go home. We've identified the concrete vendors and have ordered all the admixes for our new concrete operation. Completed, I just wanted to mention this because completed fabrication on a truck bed for the horticulturalist truck. That'll reduce our fleet by one vehicle, and the unit is equipped with a water tank, truck-mounted water pump, fold-down handrails, and a small dump bed. It's an idea of Brad Hawkins. Makes us a little more efficient and doing away with one vehicle. Actually, with the truck we ordered is a crew cab truck. So hopefully by next spring we're not fighting this COVID stuff quite as much, and we can transport everybody in. She has everything she needs on one truck instead of two. Been assisting with the setup of the concrete batching operation. Jay's provided us with mix design, and we've sent core samples of his mix and a mix from one of our area concrete suppliers to be tested for break strength. Not on my report, but just to add from today's events, the paving contractor contacted us today, and we have anticipated paving Smithfield Street this week, but because of the unusually cold nights and through the mornings, he was concerned about the adhesion between the passes in the bond. So he said he would rather not do it until the weather, he could get a little warmer weather. We just need a good warm day. And I know, again, just like we was talking before with Rob, that's difficult to get, or to guarantee. So I know it is frustrating for the folks up there that we asked not to park on the street. But, if we can get it in, we'll get it in this winter. That was our hopes, was to get it in fall, and I said we would try. But if not, if we don't get that day and where we can get a good product, then we'll put it off till the spring. That's just the way it has to be. Street crew's been trying out the new concrete trucks. Been going great so far. I don't know if you haven't noticed, down on the new Apothecary Way, down by CVS, they have poured about 3/4 of that sidewalk, and we'll continue to pick that back up probably week after next. We're a very skeleton crew for next week, and we try to concentrate on the Christmas decor over the Thanksgiving week particularly.
When we get the concrete poured on and the sidewalks done, we'll coordinate and get it and have a time to dedicate it and put the signs up and open it up officially for people to know it's there.
Absolutely, they are probably. I think we've got 70 feet left of that sidewalk to be completed in one ramp. So they're getting real close. And we tried both Jay's design mix and the vendor's mix in it. We haven't gotten the total cure strength of the 2 core samples that we sent off of both mixes yet. So, but we did do both mixes on there just to see what our finishes look like. So again, the guys are doing great on that truck. I mean, I have to commend them that they picked up so quickly. Matter of fact, our training, we were supposed to have the Fiore rep down here on Tuesday, and he couldn't get a flight Monday, and something happened Tuesday that he couldn't make it. So we went ahead and started using the truck, pouring our own concrete. And of course, we had a couple calls with him for some questions that we had, but he was really taken aback that we just went ahead and started using the truck, and we're able to batch concrete the way we were. So again, that's all credit to Brad Hawkins and those guys down there of taking the initiative and getting this thing set up, and it's really a neat operation. Brad has videoed pretty much every step of the process, so he's going to be sharing that with Callie, and I've asked Callie to kind of do a story and maybe edit some video to give folks out there an idea of what we're talking about. But it's so far been a really positive experience with the new concrete truck and the silo. We painted some of the markings on the sidewalk for the path routes. I know there's been some question as to what those markings are on the sidewalk. Again, it is a grant that Callie secured. I know she's talked about it several times. You'll see we've got most of the purple route completed. There are signs that will accompany that as well to identify that out to folks as to where those routes go to. But the idea behind it, of course, and like I said, Callie spoke to it several times, is to get our residents out, more healthy community, exercise, and these routes will eventually, we'll have them in all over different communities or different areas in town. So you could jump on a path route in front of your house and do a loop and do a 5K. So that's the idea behind it. But again, we've started on that. And the crews, as Pam mentioned, has started on the installing the Christmas decor downtown. And we've got, I think they've got all of East Main up and almost one side of Main Street. And again, Jerry Henderson and them's been working on getting things ready, and the guys have been taking it as they get the garland ready and putting it up. So it's slowed the process a little bit, but it's going to look great when they get done. Sewer Department, Crew 1 continues to work on 33 West North Side project. Crew 2 replaced sewer taps on Upshur Avenue and 182 Camden Avenue and replaced about 30 feet of sewer line on Lower Drive. The maintenance crew was commended for outstanding performance on their installation of the UV unit by the vendor, and the plant all tests were within normal range. We continue with water, continue installing services on the new line out Brushy Fork. And Tom, I believe, is going to talk about the public service rate adjustment with the waste collection. And engineering, I have nothing new at this time to report on engineering. That's all I have, Mayor, unless there's questions.
I meant to call you about this earlier. There's a street light out up there at the corner of Main Street, Spring Street, in front of the tax office, right on the corner. It gets a little dark right through there, especially with that cover up, if we could get that.
We will check it out.
Okay.
Actually, they should be checking
Chair,
Go ahead.
the West Main Street project, does it have to be totally finished before we put the new lights up?
Does it have to be totally completed?
Did you say totally finished?
Yeah, before the new lights can be put up.
We would prefer it, Pam, because we pull, we install the conduit as we do the sidewalk, and then we pull the wire into the conduit and then connect the lights in series for circuits. So we would prefer to have all of it completed before, usually that's the end phase of the project, is to pull the wire and install the lights. So the answer, I guess the quick answer is yes. I should just give that answer.
Are we planning on getting back on that project anytime soon?
As soon as we get through Christmas decorations and the holidays. Pam, actually, week after next, we should be back on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Jerry?
No, we might want to have him build a bridge or something.
Airplanes. I'm in there.
Where is he building a bridge to?
Across the river.
Thanks, Jerry. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right. Ann Barrel, if she's out there for our finance report. There she is.
Mine's going to be fast.
That's wonderful.
Balances, October 31st, Waste Collection Board. Money market checking, $687,612. CD and savings, $58,033. Water Board, money market checking, $182,780. CD and savings, $965,476. Sanitary Board, money market checking, $488,947. CD savings, $253,190. The financial statements for the water, sanitary, and waste have been completed. We need to submit the PSC reports for water and sanitary by the end of this month. I want to note that in the financial statements for sanitary, they're in very good financial condition and position right now, and that's according to our CPA as well. The financial trend in both the waste and the water are of some concern, particularly the water department. The water board had some concern for this for the past year, so they contracted with an independent accountant to conduct a study. However, he has to wait till we're finished completely with our financial statements and the PSC report. I'm just giving you this as an update that we know that the consumption usage has declined over the past few years, and our cost increase and the revenues does not. Our accountant that helped us close out the book informed us that the water board barely met the bonds. The study's complete. I'll let you know that information when it's submitted to the water board, and we'll share that with city council. So that's just a heads up. In your invoice, in your bills to be approved, the ones I think worth noting to you is Tri-State Roofing. We got our roof repaired. As you recall, we have a leaky roof. It was $8,520. We expensed $2,527 to Douglas Cutlip for the fire department for radio install and some batteries. And JF Allen, we expensed $5,782 for paving Milkman Foster Lane project. And that's all I have.
Other questions for Amby relative to her report? I don't think so. Thank you very much. Okay, is Matt still here? There he is.
Just a few things, Mayor, to update council on. Officer Colin Cope submitted his resignation from the police department. Will be effective on December 5th. Officer Cope took a new job in Florida, and of course you have later on your agenda where Civil Services met and has certified the top 3 names to bring to council for his replacement. Begun the background checks on those in anticipation for that, and continue to move forward with that. The police department has begun mentoring 2 high school seniors. We've long had a very good working relationship with our various school systems, everything from interns with the criminal justice program at Wesleyan College, as well as the various programs that we have conducted in schools, very much including our youth academy that we have every couple of years. The 2 high school seniors that we're sponsoring are Hunter Cohen and Levi Tomey, 2 very fine young men who have a very strong passion for police work. And so we've taken them in. They're going to be shadowing various officers and learning different facets of police operations over the course of the next several months. And they both plan to attend college next fall and major in criminal justice. Hunter's actually focusing on forensics, and Levi's interested in police operations. So we're getting them ready for that and giving them some good advice as they prepare for that. Continue to work on the various projects that I've been reporting on over the last few months to include our cruisers. 2 of our cruisers are still with the vendor receiving emergency equipment, and we anticipate those coming back soon and replacing the 2 oldest cruisers that we're rotating out of service. We do continue to receive equipment for our in-car camera project. In fact, just last week we installed the site access point for our wireless downloads, so the infrastructure is in place. We will begin training for the hardware for the officers over the next few weeks, and the on-site training and installation of the cameras in the cars will occur simultaneously beginning just after the new year in January. And then finally, the police department continues to host various trainings. Tomorrow we're hosting a drug investigation training at our facility. In January, we'll be hosting a de-escalation training, which we've engaged in some online trainings regarding that particular discipline. And in March, we'll host a criminal investigation training. So we're very education-oriented at our department, and that will definitely continue into the new year. And Mayor, that's all I have unless there's questions.
Any questions for Matt?
No,
Thank you, sir.
appreciate what you do, though, sir.
Thank you.
Matt.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thank you very much.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You do as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Didn't you come up there already?
I think they've all been up there at some point tonight.
Oh, Lord.
Tom O'Neill.
All right. Just one more matter for council's attention. It's in your packet under D5, marked as D5 after the chief's report. The waste board. Well, let me back up. This past winter, the legislature enacted House Bill 4587. That bill allows entities operating motor carrier license to transport solid waste, like garbage companies, to enact an automatic rate increase based upon inflation on an annual basis at a rate not to exceed a rate set by the Public Service Commission. The Waste Board, in its meeting this week, elected to take advantage of that state law. The letter that they asked me to forward to the Public Service Commission is in your packet for your review. The reason that they adopted this is because the Public Service Commission is widely expected to eliminate the fuel surcharge that has been in place because of the long-term reduction in the price of fuel. So that would have, that elimination of the fuel surcharge would have resulted in a significant impact to the Senate, to the Waste Board operations. This inflation increase mitigates that reduction. Any questions? All right.
All right, thanks, Tom. Okay, correspondence and information in your packet. We have a notice of public hearing, bond authorization, ordinance 448, which we conducted this evening. A proclamation that I did a week and a half or so ago, recognizing John Young with the Young family and with the Waddell family as well. For those of you who may not know, John was on the plane on November 14th, 1970 that crashed into the hillside just short of Tri-State Airport in Huntington, West Virginia, bringing the Marshall football team back from East Carolina. John was a very decorated athlete at Buckhannon Upshur High School. There's a scholarship up there in his name. And so there are many family members and classmates that are still around here. So this being the 50th anniversary, we did a proclamation in front of City Hall for Marshall University and John Young. Tomorrow, it's not right here, but speaking of proclamations, I'll be joining representatives from Burma and our downtown business community to once again encourage folks to shop small in our community, shop local, and support our Buckhannon businesses. And I think it's important now more than ever that we try to keep our dollars here in this town this holiday season. Our business community it needs a lifeline, and so I'll be joining happily and proudly joining our business community tomorrow to celebrate Shop Small Small Business Saturday again this year. We have a letter to change the scope, letter number 2, budget revision number 1, emergency power generator, which we've brought forth to council. We have two city PR items. Buckhannon Sewer Department crew commended for outstanding performance and work ethic. Callie did a great job with that story. And then Buckhannon Police Sergeant Courtney, which we got to meet K9 Eros this evening, and he has completed training and he seems like a really nice asset to our department. Down to the consent agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting 11/5, approval of the building and wiring permits, and approval of the payment of bills. I entertain a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
So moved.
We have motion by Mary Albaugh, we have second by Randy Sanders. Hearing the need for no discussion, we'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign,
Aye.
like sign opposed. Motion is carried. We have two remaining items under strategic issues for discussion and or vote. As Matt alluded to, we've got the approval to accept the Police Civil Service Commission recommendation of top 3 candidates. I had it in here. There it is. It's at the very, very back of your agenda, right before, in order of, as the things go, right before the parking ordinance. We have 3 names here with their test scores. We've got Al LaRusi, Charles Small, and Jacob Garrison as eligibles to approve as certified by the Police Civil Service Commission, which includes Elisa Lively, Jerry Henderson, Mark Spencer, and the City Recorder Randy Sanders. I would entertain a motion that we approve those list of eligibles for our Police Civil Service.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Jack Rigger. We have a second by Mary Albaugh. Hearing the need for no discussion, we'll call for the question. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those like sign opposed. Motion carries. I would ask Tom O'Neill to come back in for G4. We've got second reading for the approval of Ordinance 447, revised downtown parking. Again, this is the second reading. It is in the very back of your packet. I'd ask Mr. O'Neill to read the ordinance by caption, and then we'll take it up for discussion and vote.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council has before it ordinance number 447 of the City of Buckhannon, amending, modifying, and reenacting ordinance number 409, also known as ordinance number 2016-008, ordinance number 422, and ordinance number 435 of the City of Buckhannon with respect to the enforcement thereof. This is the second of 3 readings.
Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
Sorry.
We're almost done though with it. We're halfway through it. Then we'll have to change it again. So I would, if there any discussion, I think we've thrashed this out. It's where we want it to be. Hearing the need for none, I will entertain a motion that we approve on second reading ordinance 447.
So moved.
So moved.
Motion by Albaugh, second by Sanders. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those like sign opposed. Motion carries. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we made it. We are down to comments and announcements. Mary, what do you got for us?
I want to thank you and the press and Rodney for all of you helping us with the Veterans Day, stormy Veterans Day.
It did rain, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And I thank you for that. And other than that, support the United States Marine Corps Toys for Tots. Larry Brown, post commander, he's the commander of the Combined Honor Guard. Does a lot of work for our veterans who's deceased and their families. So if you see a Toys for Tots box, donate. It's local. Thank you. And you need to really look at that recording before you show it on TV. Okay, I'll tell you afterwards. But that's it, Mayor.
Okay. Well, thank you for coordinating this year's. I know we didn't get to have a parade. We didn't get to do what we normally do, but did a nice job.
We did the right thing.
We did. We did.
We did the right thing.
Okay. Thank you, Mary. Pam, anything for us?
I just want to thank Gary Arnold for all the help he has done for the workers and the city and how he coordinates everything. Also, I'd like to thank Burma for working with Jerry with the downtown decorating, and I think it's going to look beautiful. Also, I would like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, to be safe and wear your mask if you're out, and just have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Pam. All right, CJ, are you out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anything for the good of the order from you?
Yes, tonight we heard 3 names for the police civil service to hire an additional patrolman. I do not support that. I support hiring a deputy chief. We've already heard from Chief Gregory that there is currently no one on the force to handle the ongoing administration of CALIA accreditation. And I think we need to give serious consideration to the hiring of a deputy chief in lieu of an additional patrolman. So that will save that conversation for a future meeting. That's it.
Thanks, CJ. Jack Rigger.
Appreciate the veterans. And of course, Toys for Tots is a tremendous program, and I'm certain the members of the community will support it. I am pro-business, and anything that the city or council can do to promote business in Buckhannon and Upshur County, I'm all for. I know that I may have come on a little strong as we were discussing the road project, but I do feel that it's imperative that an appropriate process be followed so the council can make sound decisions. We've made a commitment out on Mudlick Road of a significant amount of money, and we are required to be good stewards of everything that's been entrusted to us by the people that voted us into these positions. And that's why I came across rather strong. If I offended anyone, I apologize. But the process has to be in place that council can make good decisions and not pull things out of the air. And that's why I took that stance. But like I said, if I offended anyone, I apologize. And I'm all for promoting business in Buckhannon and Upshur County. And I think it's a good project and will have benefits. But there's a right way to do things, and I just want to see things done appropriately. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Jack. That
Thanks,
was
Jack.
good.
Mr. Sanders?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Follow up on what CJ said. I'm very interested in exploring with Chief Gregory the possibilities of a deputy chief to help with the CLIA administrative duties moving forward. This might be a good time to open those discussions even further, since there is an opening on the force. I do agree with what Councilman Rigger just said as well. I want to support new businesses coming into Buckhannon, but we just have to dot our I's, cross our T's, and be very, very organized and very transparent to the community as to what we do. And I look forward to seeing the items on the agenda in 2 weeks concerning the project out on Buckhannon Fork. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thanks, Randy. I would remind the council that we do have a short executive session following this meeting relative to personnel. As far as the media is concerned, I don't think any decisions will be made that for tonight. Just a discussion on our part. Wanted to let everyone know that I am really, really thrilled to kind of announce tonight, and then we'll have more information to follow, but I just think this is great. Our fire department, particularly John Brugnoli and J.B. Kimball, have come up with a great idea. As we all know, having a Christmas parade this year it's just not going to happen. So I'm really proud of them. They've come up with an idea. Santa Claus is going to ride on a fire engine, and and he's going to travel up and down Buckhannon city streets. They're coordinating it for Saturday, December the 5th. It's going to begin at noon, and it could be an all-day event. What's going to happen is we're going to have a plan. There's going to be a schedule. So let's just, for example, say North Buckhannon first, South Buckhannon second, City Center next, like over where your west side, and then we'll around the college. But there will be a set plan of each neighborhood where Santa's going to be, so that the kids can come out of their homes and wave at Santa on a big fire engine as he goes up and down city streets. I'm really proud of our fire department for thinking outside the box. As we all know, the fire department coordinates the city's Christmas parade each year, and they're going to have, JB is going to bring more to us at the next council meeting, which will be right before that event. But we wanted to get the word out soon so people can plan to be home on December the 5th. Normally our Christmas parade would be that Friday, December the 4th in the evening, but this is going to be a daytime event, so let's hope for good weather. But I'm just so excited, and John is spearheading this. He's doing a great job with it. Our fire department is always looking for ways to give back to our community, and so this is going to be neat for our community and for the kids. And it becomes every single week we spend so much time trying to figure out how to navigate this, where we're at in this world with this virus. And we had 1,100 cases today in West Virginia. It just seemed the end just doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon, even though we hear bits and pieces of positivity with an upcoming vaccine. But anything that we can do that's safe and lets the kids have some enjoyment, I think is really positive. So if you have questions, call the fire department, stop by down there and talk to them. But that's what we're working on right now. And JB and John and perhaps myself and others, we're going to get a plan together for what streets we're going to go up and down and when we're going to be there and what vehicle's going to be used. But it's going to be neat. So wanted to bring that to everyone's attention to start getting ready for that. Other than that, I hope everybody shops small this year. Please shop downtown Buckhannon. Please shop Skyline Plaza. Please shop Northridge. Please shop. At our these people that own these businesses, they're our neighbors and friends, and they give a lot back to this town and this community all through the year, and we need to support them this year more than ever before. So that's all I've got. And if there's no objection at 8:58, I would consider this meeting adjourned. We'll take a quick 5-minute recess, 10-minute recess to allow the media to exit, and then we'll convene with our executive session. Thanks to everybody who's covered us. Thank you, Channel 3. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a happy Thanksgiving.